was debating keeping the lights on or off, but the option is on. This is the cleanest place in my room right now, so this is gonna have to do. Have you ever been obsessed with something so much that you start to squeal and scream and kick your feet, and it's just, you feel like you just can't sit still, and it's almost like when you're petting a dog and you just find this dog so adorable and you want to squish its brains out? Am I right, guys? Does anybody else feel that in this room? No? Just me? Okay, wait. Looking back at this, it looks like I'm, like, literally a psychopath, but, like, no, guys, I swear, like, it's a thing, it's called, like, cute aggression or something. I do feel like that a lot when watching shows, though, because I don't know what it is, like, I get so easily obsessed with stuff. And one of the shows that I got obsessed with, that we're going to be talking about today, is Agatha All Along. That came out in October, Halloween season, because it's about witches. It is a Marvel spin-off to WandaVision. If you don't know what WandaVision is, search it up. There's Google. I'm not going to explain it to you. But I am going to tell you a little about it in a second. Agatha All Along is a spin-off from WandaVision, and it came out... I already said that! I try to read off a script here. This is not my usual scene. This spin-off series came out on Disney. I, in fact, did not watch it on Disney, though. I watched it on a illegal website. Because I can only afford Netflix. I am broke. I started watching it when 3 episodes were already out, which is good. I think I probably would have broke if only 1 episode was out, and I had to wait a week for the other episodes to come out. So I'm glad I didn't start watching it until, like, a couple episodes were out, so I, like, really got to obsess over it, and then I could wait a couple weeks. And like I said before, this is a Marvel series. My whole entire life, it has... My whole entire life, it has always felt like people have been trying to push Marvel down my throat, and not in a mean way, but just, like, it always feels like, oh, like, you should watch Marvel, you should watch Marvel, you should watch Marvel. And another person who's been trying to get me to watch Marvel is my uncle, who literally has millions of comics in his basement of just, like, Marvel. So that says a lot about him. He made me watch WandaVision, which is probably the best decision I've made in my whole entire life, which has actually prepared me for the moment that I watched Agatha All Along. Like, it was my destiny to watch Agatha All Along. And when I did, let's just say I'm not a Marvel hater anymore. I wasn't exactly a Marvel hater before, but I didn't like how, like, everybody loved it. Everybody loved Marvel. And I'm different, guys. I don't like the popular things. At least that's what I like to tell myself. Let's just say this series changed my whole entire perspective on Marvel, and I might start watching Marvel as, like, a thing. That is, of course, until I realized there was, like, 50 or something fucking movies, on, like, the MCU. So I might never get around to those, but I might get around to other things that has, like, Wanda in it, who knows. Anyway, let's get to the part where I say, how did I find this series? How did I find watching these 3 episodes of Agatha All Along? Joe fucking Locke. I swear to God, this man is amazing. He was in Heartstopper. I love Heartstopper. I started watching it when the first season came out, and then was obsessed with it so much that I had to read the graphic novels. And he was just in Heartstopper until he got onto Marvel. He was just on one show, and then got onto another show, which is, like, one of the, like, the Marvel's massive. Like, think about that. Like, he is amazing. But, like, I swear I could talk about Joe for so long. Like, my obsession, when I say I'm obsessed with something, it means, like, I'm obsessed with something. But we're not going to talk about him right now. Now, before I start telling you about what Agatha All Along is, or at least the first episode, I'm going to have to explain a little bit about what WandaVision is, because it is the spin-off, or Agatha All Along is the spin-off of WandaVision. So, like, some people say that you don't really need to, like, watch WandaVision to understand Agatha All Along, and I completely agree with that. but like there is some like major points that you need to like understand. Kind of like you need to know what WandaVision is about to like understand what Agatha wants, you know? And they kind of like bring some stuff up, so they like you kind of like get the gist. WandaVision. Here we go. Wanda's husband died in some sort of like fight or something. I didn't watch the movie, so I wouldn't really know. Yeah, her husband's already dead. So she like created a town from her magic. Like, well, she didn't create the town. The town was already there. She didn't really control the situation. It kind of just happened.
Clearly you can tell I'm having a difficult time explaining, so I'm going to do it here. Basically, Wanda's husband died, and she was struggling with that fact so much, she couldn't handle it, so she put a spell over the town Westview because she wanted to live in a world that he existed in. Also, you guys, keep in mind, she chose Westview because that was the town that her and Vision had planned on living in together before he died. So she like went to the place that she wanted their house to be, and basically just ended up happening. She didn't really have the option to put the illusion over this town. It kind of just happened, trapping the people who already lived inside the town, or whoever tried to come inside from the outside world would also get trapped in there.
People have different identities. They're like stuck in this like role to play. In this process, they're kind of like stuck in their own heads. They don't really have control over their own actions, and that like sucks. She didn't really know that she was gonna hurt people though, so they do resent her for that later in Agatha along. As you'll see, they like mention Wanda a couple times, and they're like, we can't mention that name. Like, guys, we don't talk about her. They don't even want to talk about her because of how traumatized they are from her. I can't explain stuff for the life of me. If I keep fiddling with my hair, it's because I recently got a haircut and it's way too short. It feels really weird on my small head and big body.
Also forgot to mention, in this town, time is wonky. At the beginning, it's in 1950, and towards the end, it ends around like the 2000s, and each episode is a new year, a new era.
Agatha is an evil witch who disguises herself as pretends to be like this nosy neighbor.
Oh! Hello, dear. I'm Agnes, your neighbor to the right. My right, not yours.
She pretends to be in this like illusion that Wanda's created. She's actually not.
Who's been messing up everything?
It's been Agatha all along.
She's there for other reasons. Let's just say that. So she later kidnaps Wanda's kids, Billy and Tommy, just to get to Wanda. And like Agatha's power is that if like, for example, if Wanda, shot her powers. Oh, sorry, I just stepped on my dog. Wanda, blasted her powers at Agatha. Agatha would be able to like suck her magic out of Wanda and basically kill her, but have the power. So like I'm guessing that's what Agatha wanted, and in the end, Wanda wins because that's what stuff like that ends. The good always wins, But in my eyes, that's not how it really is, There's not really good and evil to this show. I'm waving around this like a wand. I'm dead. Don't look at the hairs on this brush. For Agatha, I don't know how to say this, pays for her sins. Like, that sounds so morbid, Jesus Christ. She basically, Wanda puts her under a curse to keep her in Westview for like the rest of her life. I don't know how long, probably for a really long time. Putting her stuck in her mind so that she's like the character of like the nosy neighbor forever. Does that make sense? This is another reason why I didn't want to freaking do this, because I'm so bad at explaining things. She's just stuck as this nosy neighbor character, and she can't control her own actions and have self-control. She doesn't have, what is it? Free will. That's the word. She does not have free will, and she's stuck in Westview. And that is the last thing that happened in WandaVision. And that is where we start in Agatha all along. But buckle up for the longest video or video series. It probably is not going to be too long because I'm slowing up. I was thinking that I was going to go only to one, but that's not happening since I'm a yapper, and I just keep on yapping, and I literally wrote a script for this so it wouldn't be too long, but I keep on adding new words and new sentences, so this is going to be extra long than I thought it was going to be. Buckle up for like a really long video series. Please stay with me. I swear to God, you will like this. Please. Please give this a chance. Please. Please don't leave me. It starts with the first clip of Agatha all along. It starts with Agatha in her car humming this catchy melody, which we will get to later. Remember this song for later, guys. It's, first of all, it's catchy. Second of all, it's important. yeah, she's just humming this song, and we find out that she is driving to this like secluded part of this woods because a body was discovered, and she's like a detective for like the Westview police. It's kind of confusing because last time we checked, she was a nosy neighbor, not a police detective. And Agatha is on probation for punching a suspect, but was put back on the force for, I quote, a case that only she could solve.
There I was, sitting on my duff playing Candy Crush, happy as a clam, enjoying the fruits of my undeserved disciplinary action.
You punched the suspect.
Oh, now a convicted felon. Can't be right and wrong at the same time.
Yes, you can.
When the chief calls and tells me hibernation's over. Got a case only you can solve. Direct quote.
Why is it so bright? Okay, there we go. So we can kind of like tell her character from there. She's the bad cop, you know. She's not scared of what she'll do to get to what she wants. Am I saying that right? But yeah, she's like this badass detective. I was completely lost at this part. I don't know if you already watched it and like you kind of just already knew what was happening. I didn't. I was really lost. I quite literally told Kit multiple times, like, are we watching the right show? Like, did we click on the right show? Because I feel like I missed something. Like, this, what's happening? Then it plays the intro. Anyway, Agatha starts to investigate the body. She's talking to the guy who also investigated the body. So they're talking. Find out that the body was found with blunt force trauma to the head. And while watching, kind of gives you like a feeling that you know this person that died because they're purposely not trying to show her face. And also, the body has black, like charcoaly fingers. And in WandaVision, like that, Agatha has that on her fingers and she uses magic, so that's like kind of maybe like a witch thing. Like, what's up with that? Why does his body have magically fingers? But also, while Agatha is investigating, she finds a brooch in the water or like the area of where the body was found. But instead of taking it to forensics, she puts it in her pocket. Then it plays the intro.
Down, down, down the road, down the winding road.
There's actually something really cool that I found out about the intro is that the names on there aren't real. It's names that Wanda gave them when they were under the spell. So, for example, Mrs. Hart is actually Sharon Davis, and another example, Agnes O'Connor is Agatha Harkness, which is in fact what they call her in Westview because that's all they've ever known her as. She said she was Agnes, so they call her Agnes. The two other things I noticed was at the end it says based off the Danish series, and then it says like WandaVision but warped, which I find really cool because it's like her vision is warped, she doesn't really know who she is, blah blah blah. Another thing I noticed is that there's like a flash of a dead person at the beginning, and it looks like when Agatha's powers when she like kills someone and sucks the life force out of them and everything, which I found cool because I didn't see that before. It's like kind of like a glitch, like, oh, you weren't supposed to see that.
It's like kind of like a very detective-y intro. I don't know how to explain that. It kind of gives you the idea that it's showing like this world that she's trapped in. Pretty much.
Forgot to explain this while filming, but basically Agatha goes to their town library, which I'm expecting that they only have one because like Westview is pretty small. At the crime scene they found a library slip thingy. I don't even know what it is, but they found it with the body, and on it was the book Dialogue and Rhetoric, Known History of Learning and Debate. God, I ran out of breath. But apparently the book got stolen 3 years ago, so that doesn't help at all.
So, like, she goes to look for more answers in the library, like, shelves, in, like, the same section that the book is in, I guess. All the books are burnt. I don't know if they're, like, copies as well or something, but, like, what she needed was there, and now it's burnt. There's this guy behind it that says, there was, like, a fire, it's all burnt down.
There was a fire.
But it's just one shelf. Like, don't you think that's weird? Like, it's just one area of, like, those books. That's it. So that's a little suspicious. Then later, she goes to the station, and while she's there, apparently they find out that the dirt that was under the body's nails was from, like, Eastern Europe. So yeah, that doesn't really make sense. But the next thing we know, we get introduced a new character called Rio, who was, like, I'm guessing she's, like, higher up. She's, like, in a different department. The boss of Agatha's saying, like, hey, you need to work together because I don't really know. And, like, Agatha brings up is, do you really, like, you want to help? Are you trying to pull the, like, oh, it was across state lines, so, like, they always do that in shows. I don't really know.
The body was moved across state lines. Is that your play?
But the minute that Agatha and Rio, well, at least when Rio is introduced into the plot, you get this weird tension. Like, they used to know each other, or, like, they had a past or something.
It's been a long time. What are you doing?
They definitely have some chemistry. They have chemistry. You can tell.
No. If you want to be in control, you can be.
And Rio says something along the lines of, like, oh yeah, it looks like she just kind of spawned in, like she just, like, appeared out of nowhere.
It's like she just magically appeared.
And Agatha says, let's stick to reality. So you can kind of tell that, like, Rio's kind of, like, suspicious about the situation. But Agatha is sticking to the facts. She doesn't want to believe that it's, like, anything magically. But Rio has a clue that maybe something weird is going on with the case. And Agatha is a lone wolf. Like, she doesn't want to work with Rio.
Who better to solve the mystery than one of Westview's very own? Hey, you've lived here your whole life. Isn't that true, Agnes?
She then later goes to a pawn shop to check out what is going on with the, like, brooch. Why didn't you just take the brooch to forensics? Like, no wonder you got suspended. But the guy at the pawn shop dates it back to, like, this I can't do numbers. 1700 E's, like, you know, like the year 17th century? Like, I don't know. How do you say that? But also, they find out that it's a locket, and you can open it, and there's, like, a piece of hair in it. Like, what does this mean? Who has a chunk of hair in a brooch? Freaky. Here we are again. Agatha is at the station, and she's, like, studying the name of the book and trying to uncover more stuff about the case, which she does find out that the aneurysm is Darkhold. Like I said, I don't know what half of this means when I write it down. Woo! Woo! But then her chief says, like, girl, you need to go home. Because it's like, what? It's like 3 in the morning or something. Like, get some sleep. So she goes home, and we get a little bit of her, like, a lore drop. They just keep throwing in more and more stuff at this point, and it kept getting me so confused. Like, what's going on? I was still at this point like, what is this? Was there a movie we were supposed to watch beforehand? Because we had just watched WandaVision right before, so that we could, like, recap. Okay, so then it would all be in our brains when we watched Agatha along. So I was like, how is this not making any sense? But we get a little bit of a lore drop, like I said before. We see Agatha walking into this dark room. It's very depressing. It has, like, kids' toys in it, like a bed that's empty. It has, like, I don't know if it's, like, a spelling or grammar. This kid won something. You can tell he's, like, this kid was little, and on this thing it says Nicholas Scratch, so it's like, oh, who's Nicholas Scratch? Is this her old kid? Why is he not here? And then, like, immediately after, people keep walking in on me, stop. And the next thing we know, Rio shows up with, like, a pizza and is like, hey, let's talk. And Agatha's like, yeah, let's talk about the case. Yeah, let's do it. But there's still, like, chemistry or, like, something going on with, like, their pasts. There's a wall built up. And they're sitting down. Agatha starts talking about the case.
I have a lead in the case.
That's not why I came over. But go ahead.
Saying that there was, like, a car crash in Eastview.
A car wreck about an hour before time of death.
Where?
Eastview.
Eastview. See, I thought you turned into a pumpkin that far afield. Okay, so what about the car wreck?
Blood stayed in the backseat.
You think that's how they moved her?
Front 2 airbags deployed.
Maybe 2 perps?
We do find out that they have some sort of past because Rio says,
Do you remember why you hate me?
and Agatha says she doesn't.
Then randomly Rio just straight up switches up on Agatha.
Are you hiding evidence? Well, you're only lying to yourself.
Then they hear a banging coming from upstairs, and Agatha, as a good, cool, badass cop, she gets up as fast as she possibly can, runs up the fucking stairs, and sees that someone's trying to rob her. Unless it's not upstairs. I might be wrong on that, but like in my mind, I think it is. No, it is, because they fall out of the window later. As any normal person would do, starts to chase after him, or in this case, jumps out of the window that he climbed out of and almost breaks her back.
Crap!
Oh, hey, where are you? Stop! Please!
You go, girl, yes. But yeah, she starts chasing after this dude and starts running after him until he gets run over. This dude gets run over and she just... My bad. This dude gets run over and she arrests him for, you know, robbing. She takes him to the police station and, you know, like the talking room. They start to talk there. This is where... Okay, yeah. If you don't know, oh my god, I have sweat all over my nose. This is where we find out that the whoever was robbing her before was Joe Law. And we can tell from, like, whoever this guy is, has a very, bratty teen personality. But, like, the sass, yes.
What compelled you to break into the home of a decorated detective?
When you say decorated, do you mean suspended without pay?
Basically roasts her for a little while. And then she keeps on asking him questions.
I fucked up and forgot to mention, like, one of the most important parts of the scene. First of all...
What were you after?
Your road.
What road?
You of all people should know.
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. The second thing I wanted to mention was, you can see his fingers are like very charcoaly, just like the body was. And you know what I said? Agatha's fingers were like that whenever she used her power. So it's like, it's a witch thing. It's a witch thing. But he just says it's from the fingerprints.
Asleep in bed. Total loser? Or totally lying?
And eventually pulls out, like, photos of the dead body that they found. Because she thinks that he's somehow, like, in the case. Which you don't even know. He could just be robbing you for some random reason. Yeah, she just straight up tries to show this guy the dead body photos, which is, like, so messed up. I'm pretty sure, like, I've seen this in a couple of shows. Like, cops will just sometimes straight up traumatize people and show people dead bodies, photos of dead bodies. Like, no, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to show them evidence. And also, he's a teenager, so go ahead, ruin his life, why don't you? But thank God it wasn't a photo of the bodies. She thinks it was, but then he's like, what are you talking about? These are just flowers. But you can tell that, like, something's going on. We're getting to, like, the climax of the episode. Not actually, but, like, we're getting there. And she gets really weirded out, blah, blah, blah. He asks her why she keeps staring at the wall that she keeps looking at, which is, you know, when you're in a, like, questioning room, there's a mirror that you can, like, look at. There's a one-way window, so that, like, the people can look at you while you're, like, in there, yeah. But throughout this scene, it shows, like, Agatha, like, looking at Rio behind the window, the one-way window? Mirror? The one-way screen? Because it's not a window, it's not going outside, until it shows that Rio isn't behind there. She never was.
Why do you keep looking at that painting?
It's not a...
And then this kid starts chanting in Latin.
Zoe feminon de fixo.
He's a witch. So yeah, he starts chanting, and Agatha's done with his bullshit, puts him in cuffs. I'm guessing stuffs him in a cell. Now we're to the next scene. They cut that off really weird. Now we're at the morgue. She is looking for more stuff about the case. She's gonna look more on the body, and while she's there, immediately we can tell something's about to go down.
She was in her late 20s. Green eyes, 5'7".
The words Wanda Maximoff pop up on the tag of, like, the dead body. First of all, I did not know Wanda was dead because I didn't watch the movies. Like, wait a second. Oh my gosh, that's what they were trying not to show the body before. So I had to check out the episode again, but it actually says W Maximoff, not Wanda Maximoff. But we can assume it says Wanda. And then Rio spawns behind Agatha, and basically implies that she is under a curse, that she should break out of it because Wanda's dead and she can't hold her there forever.
That witch is gone, and all the copies of the Darkhold with her, leaving you trapped in her distorted spell. But you don't have to stay there.
Then we get to the coolest, not the coolest, such a cool scene where Agatha is starting to realize that she is under a curse and Wanda is dead. And she's like wondering like, what? How did this bitch die? What? She starts to think that it's getting hot in here. And I agree, it is getting very hot in here. Maybe I am breaking from the curse. But yeah, that's what she does. She starts taking her clothes off, and underneath the clothes are each era from WandaVision.
Is it hot? Are you?
Yes, claw your way out.
I'm hot. Is it hot? Ooh, I'm feeling.
Good.
And like, cause in WandaVision, they're stuck in this town that is in different timelines. For example, one year was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. It was all that jazz. She starts taking off her clothes, and each clothes is a different era. My favorite is probably the 2000s, around that era, and she's wearing a tracksuit. And we get a clip, my favorite clip that I edit with all the time.
You bitches ain't like me, brand new.
Of her turning around, we see the Gat. And, but yeah, we keep going through the eras.
Agatha is finally on her final outfit change, and Rio tells her that there are 2 Jane Does in this case, and that Agatha already knows one of them, so figure out who the second one is, basically saying, like, find out who you are.
Until she makes it back home, until we get to the last era. No, yeah, I guess. We get back to the original Agatha Harkness. And I am going to have to go because I think this has gotten a little bit too long. It will be filming more next time.
New setup, people. Different day. That's right, I came back. I didn't leave you guys. Unless you left me at the beginning of the video, then you left. Then you left me. Different day, different outfit, different makeup, different background. But I have 30 minutes to explain you what happens in the rest of Agatha along until I have Spanish class. So let's get started. The power is in fact out, so I cannot read off of my computer like I did before. This time I wrote a script. It was smaller, but I don't even have it. So I'm just gonna have to memorize what I wrote last night. We left off, you see her now, and she is in fact naked, butt naked. She's in her house. She was never in this morgue place. I don't remember the exact details, but she runs out of the house naked to the neighbor who is doing like yard work. I think he's like watering his flowers, bushes. Don't quote me on that. He is, of course, surprised.
Hey, Miss Agnes, you feeling okay today?
Stop talking!
And he's like, Agatha, put some clothes on. No, he says Agnes, put some clothes on, because they know her as Agnes. She's like, how long have I been here? How long have I been living here? She says the iconic line, how long have I been in this cesspool of a town?
How long have I been living in this cesspool of a town?
Iconic. And he says 3 years. She lost 3 years of her life under this curse, which is crazy. And like, I know she's a bad person, but like, come on, Wanda, like, what the hell? Now that she's back to her normal self, she's like literally so iconic. Like, I can't, like, this is the main reason why I had to watch the show, because like I kept seeing clips, I kept seeing edits, and like also like, she's so attractive. What? She finds out that she's wasted 3 years of her life.
3 years? Wanda.
Oh, we try not to say her name.
Because you're cowards. Because you're sheep. What have I been doing all this time?
The neighbor answers her questions, like, she's asking, like, he kind of just says, like, yeah, like, I don't know, you've been, like, in a bad place. Like, basically, they just explain that she's, like, been in her house. She never leaves. Like, all that we saw, like, her being a detective and everything, that was just her imagination. She was crazy. She was just in her house, playing make-believe. No, but, like, the neighbors have been giving her food and stuff because she just doesn't eat. So yeah, she's confirmed crazy. And now like the neighbor mentions like, yeah, but like you seem different now, like more powerful. She's like, what, you think I'm powerful? Like, wait. Which reminds her that like she has powers. So she like runs to her house and like she tests out her powers and it's not there. So she's like, okay, so my powers are still gone. Like, bruh. Goes in the basement for a little bit to pet her little rabbit, her little bunny. Which doesn't, I don't even, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like later she leaves her house for a little adventure. That's like the whole entire plot of the series. Her bunny doesn't come with. I don't know if it's a bunny rabbit. I don't know. But her little bunny doesn't come with. And they're gone for like multiple days. Like, what happened to the bunny? Does it feed itself? I don't know. We don't really find out a lot more after that. Yeah, she's in her basement, basically bitching on Wanda because she ruined her life, which is honestly, yeah, that's fucked up. I just realized that the audio quality is gonna be so much better in this video because I have my actual mic up to here. My phone's messed up, so I always have to plug in these earplugs so the mic is just like hanging over there, and then it'll pick up me, but like from far away, blah blah blah. So like now I actually have it here. Little ASMR. I think she goes back upstairs. She does put on a robe at one point because she still doesn't have any clothes on, and she finds out that, you know, all that like detective stuff wasn't real. She just found out. So she hears muffling in her closet and finds out that like, you know Joe. We don't know his name yet, so I'm just gonna call him Joe. Joe, she wasn't interrogating him before at the station. She wasn't doing that because that wasn't real. So he didn't go to a cell when she like handcuffed him and was like, I'm done with your bullshit. She didn't do that. She put him in her closet. He is duct taped at the mouth, roped to a chair in her closet of old places, which is crazy. She hears muffling, opens the closet, and she's like, oh damn, I kidnapped you, poor guy. And before she even has a chance to like untie him, which we don't even know if she was gonna untie him. Maybe she was gonna be a guy in person, but let's just say she was about to untie him when the door flings open. The door bursts open, air, like there's basically an explosion, like a bunch of stuff happening, blah blah blah. Agatha gets flung across the room. It's insane. And it's Rio. Rio was real. It wasn't just a figment of her imagination. And they still seem like they know each other. They still seem like they have a past, but she's not a detective from a different section of town. She is also a witch. We actually don't know her role, but they have passed.
I've missed you. I hate you. How long's it been, Agatha?
And Rio starts to fight her. She wants to kill Agatha. And basically, like, puts a knife to her throat, and she's like, you don't know how long I've been wanting to kill you. But, like, before you had, like, what is it called? Darkhold. Before you had the Darkhold, which is, like, the magic that she had before. She's like, before you had your magic, so, like, I couldn't kill you, but now you're vulnerable. She actually does say that, the exact words, you're vulnerable, I think.
You're vulnerable.
And then it's like really hot. There's so many hot characters in this show, bro. Rio, Agatha, Joe, and then they're fighting, they're being thrown, they're being choked. Agatha gets thrown against like this wardrobe thingy. Then she says, you don't want this. You don't want to kill me without my powers. Like, you want to kill me at my best. Like, you know, if she kills her like without her powers, that kind of just shows like a sign of weakness. You could kill me with my powers and show like how amazing and powerful you are, but like no, like you're choosing the easy way out. She's like, okay, sure, you're right. But also there's millions of people that want you dead already. So why don't I just sit back and watch?
I could just sit back and watch.
Like, I could just wait for you to die and then you're not my problem anymore. She says, yeah, I'll just tell them where you are. And Agatha's like, who's them? Who are you sending after me? What is it? The Salem 7? In Salem? I don't know. They are witches that Agatha killed. They were her first coven in WandaVision. They show a little bit of her lore. They're like gonna burn her at the stake, but like with magic. Pew pew. When they're about to kill her, they shoot all of their magic at her, and she sucks it up and kills all of them. So that's the end of that coven. And now I don't know. Like Rio's gonna bring them back to life, send them after them because they want revenge for like Agatha killing them. Hell by Agatha's face. She's not happy about this. This is not a good thing. She just doesn't want to confront them. She doesn't want to confront her past. Maybe that's the reason.
You don't have a heart.
Yes, I do. It's black. And it beats for you.
That's that. And then she looks at the side and realizes that Joe is still there. He's still tied up in that chair. He just wants to be let go. He just watched this whole entire fight happen. And that is the end of the episode. This poor guy is still in the chair. Free Joe. # free Joe. But that is it. This actually only took 11 minutes. Whoa. Maybe I shouldn't be writing scripts. Maybe I only need to be writing a little bit to kind of remember what happens. And then nothing else. I might have missed some stuff, but I'll add it in later like I did before. Hope you enjoyed. This video is going to be one part to episode 1. The next videos are going to be shorter, and I'm going to try to fit as many videos as many episodes as I can in it, because I do not want to edit a bunch of videos. It's going to be a multiple part series, but I don't want it to be a 5-6 part, maybe 3-4. That is it for this video. I really hoped that you watched it, because last time I made a little vlog, I checked the views and it looked like a lot of you guys didn't see it. Bye!